Champaran region, where Betia is located, and where, as we had all learned growing up, Mahatma Gandhi launched his passive resistance movement against British rule. By train, it was 17 hours overnight from Delhi to Betia. We carried our own food and sneaked in some alcohol, assuming that if this trip turned out to be anything like our last train ride into Bihar, a liquid sedative would be in order. Suffice it to say it was. But despite the filth, the conductor's sense of social decorum was exquisite. At a station stop who knows where, in the middle of the night, Pranoy got off to buy a cup of tea, and when the train started moving without him, Radhika leapt up barefoot to alert the conductor that her husband was about to be left behind. "Madam," responded the shocked conductor, "at least wear your slippers." He did, however, go looking for Pranoy, who fortunately had jumped back on a few cars ahead of us, without spilling his tea. Our conversation turned to how Champaran today was less closely associated with Gandhi than with much shadier characters, and indeed, a few weeks later, filmmaker Prakash Jha released Apharan, Abduction, which described how kidnapping season took off in Champaran when the sugarcane reached full height, providing good cover for the kidnappers. From Betia station, we drove straight to Hotel Kishan, which was not really a hotel in the normal sense at all. Even the most road-hardened journalists in our caravan were taken aback. The lobby was a sweet shop with flies buzzing around inside the glass display cases, yet sweets appeared to be the main business, lodging secondary. A few doors led off the sweet shop to ground floor rooms in bizarre shades of green, and our rooms were upstairs with no plumbing and geckos hanging on the walls and ceilings. Staff would bring buckets of hot water for washing and flushing the squat toilets, which reminded us of the line about how, in India, running water means a worker comes running with the water. In the middle of the night, Hotel Kishan took me back to my boyhood summers in Bijnor, interrupted by the sound of women screaming as geckos fell off the ceiling, a surprise made more unnerving by the fact that flipping the switch rarely turned on the light. The power was out more often than not, so we ate our evening meals in the dark on the open veranda of the Kishan, which had no dining room or common area other than the fly-infested sweet shop. Our drivers had arrived at the Kishan the day before we did, describing a harrowing journey across the UP-Bihar border, though fortunately the carjackers had not stopped them with a rock through the windshield. By this point, I had started discouraging lunch stops as too time-consuming and had asked the car company to provide for snacks in our vehicles. The company assigned us an indomitable character named Dinesh Sood, who would help solve every manner of problem the Indian road could throw at us. Over time, he became a beloved fixture and a sort of major domo on all our trips, known to all of us as Mr. Sood. Bespectacled, big-hearted and big-bellied, Mr. Sood packed the boot with bags of namkeen, the popular snacks made in a bewildering variety of local flavors, and one thing in common: salt, for which he laid on cases of bottled water and coke. At Betia's Circuit House, a large government guest house for visiting officials, we met K.J. Rao, the Election Commission's observer in Bihar, whose phone was ringing off the hook with complaints and requests that he beef up security at the local polling sites. In a state where elections had often been decided by thugs stuffing ballot boxes and dictating votes, there was a lot of buzz about how this one determined man had a chance to make this Bihar's fairest election ever. Local roads were crawling with teams from the Central Reserve Police Force, or CRPF, a 3 lakh member national paramilitary force that is often deployed to secure election districts. The only complaints we heard about Rao and the Election Commission were from Lalu's party, which, before the deadlocked February vote, had effectively held power for 13 years and was closely associated with Bihar's corruption and lawlessness. Lalu's supporters said Rao's crackdown was spreading fear and would suppress turnout and democracy, but it sounded to us like the moralizing of privileged insiders who feared losing their privileges. Whatever objections Congress leaders had once held